Good morning and welcome to February. Today is it, finally a new month. This will be a short one, the shortest one of the year, 28 days, not a leap year, so keep that in mind. The big news overnight as you're waking up, as you're getting ready to start your day, if this is a part of your travel, you need to find an alternative route. And let me pull this up so we can get a better look at what's going on this morning as to what has happened in the overnight hours. As we pull this up, here's the map. There was a fuel spill that happened somewhere around 10 p.m. last night in the Meridian area. Now, this is going to be I-20 right down here. This is North Frontage Road. This is going to be Queen City truck stop right here. This is 65th Avenue, this area right here where Maples Gas is. There was a gasoline spill last night, and this whole area here has been blocked off from 65th Avenue, Old 8th Street Road to Frontage Road as they clean this up. They've been, as I said, been working on this since about 10 o'clock last night. They wanted to make absolutely sure all precautions. The gasoline did not get out of the containment area. That's good news. It stayed where it was supposed to. They're cleaning it up. They just did not need any sparks or anything like that to happen last night while cleaning was going on. So if you use this route, let's say that you're coming along Highway 19 and you cut there by Lee's Donut to go toward I-20, or if you go to the guard base, you will have to find a new alternative route to work today. Go on down through College Park area and avoid that area this morning. So that's going to be blocked off. Throws a little bit of a kink into your plans as to what you normally do, but we want you to be aware of exactly what's happening this morning as you begin your day. Right now, we're 41, and it's going to be a nice day. 69 is what we're looking at. That's really spring, summertime weather. But it's February. I knew what you were thinking. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Yeah, that normally means something maybe is coming that we don't want. And you're absolutely right. We're going to get rain tomorrow, and Thursday, possibly thunderstorms. And as we take a quick look, and we're going to revisit this here in just a little bit, but let me just show you here what Mississippi is barely going to miss, and then parts of Mississippi could get a little ice accumulation. Not our area at this point, but as we pull this up to show you here of what the forecast area looks like, here's northern portions of Mississippi. Right there, Mississippi Delta could get a little bit there. All of this blue area, this is under a winter storm watch. This is a winter storm warning just above that. This is barely going to miss Mississippi. Couple counties there will get it, but for the main part, none of us will. Now, this area right along in there, and we'll look at it closer in just a little bit, could see a little bit of wintry mix Thursday as this storm comes through. This thing, look how big this is. This is where this storm is going to cut across the middle of the nation. We're fortunate that it's not going to pound down on us and knock out power. Will we have a chance of some severe weather coming up on Thursday? It is possible. We'll get into this green area here in just a little bit and let you know exactly what to expect. Again, we're a couple of days out, and we know how things change a little bit. But for the most part, we're going to have a lot of rain. It's going to pour down on Thursday, so be prepared for that. Wednesday and Thursday, you're not going to be able to do outside chores at all, especially Thursday. Then it'll go away and a cold front will pass through and it'll be cool once again. Sort of an outlook of what we've got stirring this morning as we watch all of this. How are you? I hope you're doing good today. We start this together and begin a new day. It's going to be gorgeous. We've got Candace coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. She'll be here as we kick into the morning show. Now, I knew about this. I just didn't know the extent. I knew that there was what was described to me originally was a fire in the woods and maybe some type of structure caught on fire, and I didn't think anything of it. And the later in the evening it got, the more messages I got that something else went on. And we look at this. This is just so horrible, and we'll discuss this more this morning. But as you wake up, this happened early yesterday morning. Right after midnight is when all of this began. As we pull up, let me throw this up here where you can see this. A fire claimed the life of someone in Lauderdale County early yesterday morning. It's somewhere around 12:30, right around in there, is when Clayton Cobbler was called to the scene. Now, what we do know is we don't know the name of the victim. He was in a camper, and the camper caught fire. From what we understand, it dealt with butane. Now, he was trying to keep warm with this. What we don't know, and fire investigators are involved in this, is they look at this to determine how it happened, but he was using propane in some shape, portion, or a way to keep warm. Now, whether he had a bottle and it wasn't screwed on properly, or I don't know, maybe it was to the heating system of the camper. We don't know. What I am being told is we do not know the identity of the gentleman that lost his life. From what I understand, this is, you can't 100% without being on the scene, but what I'm told from those close to the cases, this was a homeless man that was given a chance by somebody that owned a camper, was letting him stay there till he got back on his feet. Somehow or another, it caught on fire there, and he lost his life. They are trying to identify who he is to let the next of kin know that this has happened. No matter who you are, where you are upon this life, your life means something, and we pass along condolences out there. A horrible way to go. I just, it brings a tear to a glass eye, as they say. You hate to even have to talk about things like this. Always be careful with your propane. Make sure everything's connected properly. If you smell something, turn it off. Get out. That's a very small area, especially in a camper, if something's not smelling right. And we lost a life on that. And for those who work that, I don't care who you are, how many times you run up on this. If you're a volunteer fireman, you're with the sheriff's department, it does affect you. Death is just not good. And so condolences for all those involved, and especially somewhere that man had some family. So we do pass along condolences on that. That's one of the lead stories of what happened in our area here lately. Now, the next thing that we know is happening here locally is this outbreak of stolen cars. Now, I hear about cars being stolen every day. Most turn out to be not a whole lot to it, but then there's others that are. So I have to weed between this, and I have to stay in touch with the police departments to be on top of what really goes on. What we found out yesterday morning, a string of these things happened. We found out that in Collinsville, a truck was stolen from somebody's yard as cars were broken into in the Collinsville area. Now, normally we don't see that. Now, let me show you this picture of this truck. This is what we've got here. Let's pull this up. This is a truck that was stolen from West Lauderdale Road. If you happen to see this, report it to the sheriff's department. As we look at this, this is the tag number on this vehicle, LA1 4977. That's your tag number on this. Now, as we talk to everybody that lives in the Lake Ross Collins area, there was numerous cars broken into, guns, purses, anything that you left in your car was taken by criminals that don't want to work. They want to take what is yours. And, well, we got to put a stop to all of this. We can't allow this. If you live in these areas, check your cameras, see what you got, who was prowling around when they shouldn't have been. Now, after all that is said, I had a young lady contact me last night or late yesterday afternoon. Let's show you this car. This comes to us from Anderson Hospital. This car was parked in the garage. And as I soon learned, that there was a string, as we had in Collinsville, cars broken into. In the parking garage of Anderson's Hospital, there was a string of cars also that was broken into. Let's look at this car here. This was stolen from Anderson's Hospital. Let's pull this up. This is a Toyota Camry here as we look at this. A silver car. Did you happen to see this if you live in the West Lauderdale area anywhere on your cameras? Anybody see that? Right there. Now, let's show you the tag number on this. This is a Alabama tag that we're looking for. The letters on it are NAH 1115, NAH 115. This is Alabama plates. It's a young lady that works at Anderson's Hospital, and her car was taken from her. Now, you've got to remember this. And I had another lady that contacted me after I posted this, and she goes, my car was broken into also. This is how both of these vehicles are how people go back and forth to work to earn a living. And we just got to put a stop to it and do this as a community. We got to work together. Check your cameras. Did you see that car anywhere in your neighborhood? And I tie this into the Collinsville area. Why? Because this young lady's identification was still in her car, and it was found in somebody's yard in Snowden Hills and was thrown out. So that car was used out there. And what criminals have been doing lately in our area is they steal one car, and then they go around town and they do other crimes in a car that they cannot be traced back to. That's what they do and how this string of burglaries and things are going on. So one car stolen may be used in another crime. So be on the lookout for that. Most likely it's going to be parked somewhere up a dirt road, off the side of the edge of a road somewhere. Be on the lookout for it. She'd love to have her car back. As we all know, you can't find cars now, and you have to have your automobile to make a living, and it would be nice for her to get that back. We had numerous wrecks around town. Last night, there was a wreck right there where you get off I-20, 22nd Avenue, you know where Harbor Freight sits there. An accident happened there with possible injuries there last night. Let me see here. We also, I thought there was, a car flip last night on Old Highway 80 West. I got a message on that also. In a curve, it was a single car accident in a curve there out near the stockyards. And I think I got a picture of that location of where that happened as we look at this. Right here, here's the Meridian Stockyards. This is Old Highway 80 West. Car come around this curve, lost control, and flipped. It was an SUV about right there. We see a lot of wrecks in this area here. So if you travel Old Highway 80 West, be careful. There's a lot goes on in that area also. We've got so much more to talk about when it comes to things that have been going on in our area. Gunshots yesterday afternoon. Y'all heard about this? Now, if you're traveling from the interstate, if you get off of the airport exit and you go toward College Park, as you come over the big bridge, you come down to that first red light. That's 5th Street, where you take a left. Shots were reported where Mid-South Welding sits there. If you take a left there and go there, shots were reported in that area. Now, nobody was hurt, but gunshots in the middle of broad daylight were heard. The guys that worked at Mid-South Welding in the back heard it. They thought at first possibly the building was hit. It was checked out. We don't believe that happened. But we need to stay on top of this. If you see something, report it. Make sure the police are aware of what's going on in our surroundings. I never try to candy coat things because I think you need to know what happens in our communities. Whether you live in Philadelphia, you live in Scuba, you live in Livingston, Alabama, wherever you're watching from, things happen in your communities too. We need to know about that so we can share that with others. All of us need to know all the time what's happening near us. Also, there was reports of a shot reported near Village Apartments yesterday also. Again, no one hurt with that, but still the same. That did happen. Gunfire went up. Lead's got to fall somewhere, but fortunately, no one is injured. We haven't had any murders lately, and thank goodness that has not happened as we watch what happens throughout the community. So we've got more coming up. We'll tell you what's happening around the state, and we've got weather to go. Don't rush off. We'll learn a thing or two together. We'll be right back here with Scotty Ray's Report. The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings. California Navel oranges, 4-pound bag, $3.99. Large tomatoes, $1.69 a pound. Idaho potatoes, a 8-pound bag, $3.99. Skippy peanut butter, a 16-ounce jar, $2.49. Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, a 28-ounce jar, 2 for $5. And certified Angus beef ribeye steak family pack, $12.99 a pound.
We're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike and Jake have years of experience of dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. And good morning to Hazel Brumfield. Glad to have you watching us. Tom Sykes is up and at 'em. You've been busy out preaching and doing things here lately, Tom. Glad to see you doing that. Bunch of marriages. A lot of folks get married. I see you with pictures with people getting married all the time. Always good to see somebody get together. Thank y'all for watching. We do appreciate it this morning. What does February the 2nd, today is the 1st, what does tomorrow bring? That little pesky dude that, well, I almost feel like going and looking up Bill Murray. We're going to have to. Punxsutawney Phil will come about tomorrow, and this is Punxsutawney Phil. The Weather Channel threw this up for us there. Will he see a shadow or not? As we look at this, based on what the Weather Channel tells us, Phil has seen his shadow more times than not. 105 times he's seen his shadow, and only 20 times that little rodent hasn't seen it. So the odds are he will see his shadow and mean 6 more weeks of winter. Y'all be prepared for that. I think most of us support Chris McDaniel. Are y'all familiar with who I'm talking about? He's eyeing another run at Senate. It's a good possibility he would get it this time. I had in the back of my head that Chris may run for governor, but he says he's considering a bid for Congress. That's a pretty good deal. Chris is an honest fella, and I think most of us believe in his beliefs. If you don't follow his Facebook page, do so. He speaks the truth and puts it how it really is, and, well, puts it how most of us think. Maybe you don't agree with him. If you don't, I think Chris is also open for what you think as well. He's not going to run you down just because you don't believe in it. As we look at Mississippi State, they are going to continue their mask requirement and monitor transmissions rates for guidance. What they're saying is basically you take all that wording out. They're going to leave the mask mandate for a little bit longer until they discover or not if that goes down. So we'll watch Mississippi State. Over in Jackson, now you've all heard the stories of disgruntled employees. They had one in Jackson, Mississippi, over at Sal and Mookie's. Now, that's a restaurant. I've never been there, but a disgruntled employee fired a gun up in there. Not good for him. He's been driven downtown. Have mercy. Jackson, Mississippi. As we look at other things, a wreck also happened in Brandon, and a gentleman on a motorcycle. And always be careful with motorcycles. I am not a motorcycle rider. I got a lot of friends that do it. I've just never been one of those that purchased a motorcycle. They say it's the greatest thing you can ever do. But a gentleman was killed in a wreck in Jackson, Mississippi, when it turns out possibly a drunk driver hit him and killed him. He was on a Harley. Found Matthew Weghorst. He was 49 years old. He died at the scene. They've made an arrest of the gentleman that caused that. Drinking and driving does not mix. Now, this gentleman, his family is without. We hate to see that. One of the biggest thing, and we watch all these mandates that hit the state of Mississippi and Alabama, do you realize that we are at a shortage for nurses, medical staff? We are 3,000 down in the state of Mississippi, which means each time they lose more staff, they don't have that many beds to open up at a hospital. We need to get this fixed. There's a lot of us don't feel good. When you go to the hospital, you need help. We need to help out with this. And mandates just really is not helping this situation, is it? It's not. We'll watch this, and hopefully something will get turned around on this. Neshoba County, as I was reading the Neshoba Democrat, wow, they arrested 6 people for selling tobacco to someone under the age of 21. I remember those. I think they're called, sting operations, so to speak, where they send somebody in that's younger than 21 to see if they ask for ID at the counter. They arrested 6 people for that weren't thinking. We do have a case of chronic waste disease that was confirmed in Warren County with deer hunting. Now, Warren County is by Vicksburg. First case of that I've heard of. Maybe you've heard of more, but that's a first for me as we look at that. And a woman in Mississippi has won $1 million in a Mega Millions prize. Harrison County woman. Can you imagine that? Buying one of those tickets and winning that much money? I never had. And as we look at all of these mandates nationwide, we turn to Canada right there at the line. Have y'all seen this? $10 million has been raised as support for those guys. Donald Trump has thrown his weight behind them, and it's getting bad up there. But they've raised more money than the politicians have in Canada. $10 million to fight what's going on. Maybe they'll turn that around and get those trucks back rolling again. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're trying to put a mandate on the truck drivers. If you come into Canada, you had to have the shot. Well, we found out in America that the Supreme Court doesn't believe in that. So why should truck drivers crossing that line into another country? They need our products. We'll keep a close eye on that. And also coming up this morning at 8 o'clock, we'll get into the Whoopi Goldberg thing. Are y'all up to date on all of this with Whoopi? That's a mess. She calls people racist, and she doesn't believe in the Holocaust, says it had nothing to do with race. I'm sorry. 6 million people were murdered because they were Jewish. That's racist. I don't see any other way that you could put that. And so much is changing across America to where history is not being taught anymore. Does that bother you like it does me? History books are being ripped out. I read this week to where when history covers this, where they showed the pictures of the concentration camps to the students, the pictures. They're banning this because they think it's harmful for children to see what the concentration camps look like. It was reality. It was history. These people suffered. We never, on the face of this earth, need this to happen again. There's only one way that you can do this is teach generations what's happened in the past. Someone save our country. We need this. We need strong people elected to offices to stop the cancel culture across America, to where it's just that next generation is just not going to know, are they? They're not. It worries me, and I hope it worries you also. That's a quick look at some headlines, and we got more coming up this morning at 8, so I want you to come back for that. But now it's time to talk a little bit about weather. What's going to happen today? Let's get into that and find out.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we turn to our record highs and record lows, 1950, we set a record high of 81 degrees. That was a warm day. 1951, a year later, it would be just the opposite. It was 12 degrees. Probably one of the golden times in American history, the 1950s. I was nowhere around, but there's a lot of you that were there and enjoyed it. It was. As we look for sunshine and 69 today across the state of Mississippi, it's going to be a warm day. Perfect. We cross over to Alabama and take a look here. Demopolis, you're going to see 69, as well as Livingston, Alabama. Perfect weather. A little bit cooler in northern Alabama as you get up near Hamilton, Gadsden, 65. The further south you go, about the same here as the Meridian area, 69, 68 over to Troy and those areas. Now, what lies ahead for us coming up on Wednesday and Thursday? As we look at this, heavy rain and flash flooding is on the way. And this is Thursday into Thursday night, so be prepared. Anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain are going to fall. Now, all of this area is included in this also. This comes out of Mobile. Is why this is not listed here, but Wayne County is in this also of getting all of this. So remember, don't cross water when it's over the road. We don't want anything to happen to you, but this is going to be heavy, heavy. We're going to be just shy of getting ice. All of this north of us, and we'll go back up and look at radar here in just a moment and show you this. Right at this point, we'll look at this closer on my radar to give you exactly where this will cut across when it comes into Clark County, but the severe storms possible at this point move into Clark and to Jasper County, and all of this is going to be in the afternoon on Thursday, possibly some severe weather there. But we'll give you locations here in just a moment so that you'll know more about that situation. As we come up, what's going to happen with the temperatures? Cooler weather is on the way after this 70-degree weather rolls out today. Below average in South Texas. It's cold as you get out toward Odessa, where all the folks are still in the oil field there. Well, the ones that can still work. It's cold out there. Pretty much across the entire South, it's cool or on the way. As we look at this, now this is our forecast for the next 7 days of what is up and coming. We want you to be aware of what lies ahead on this. As we dig into the forecast today, gusty today, 20-mile-an-hour gust. A great day for a clothesline hanging. If you want to have some stiff shirts that's hard to wear, go ahead, hang them outside. They'll stand up by themselves, won't they? Tonight, we get that 40% chance of showers in the forecast, but that will not roll in until after midnight with a low around, say 55. And as we get up, that rain's going to move in right after midnight. So by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, the wet weather will be here. 80% chance of showers before lunch, and then showers to continue into the afternoon. We'll get 68 tomorrow. Again, gust of 30 miles an hour. So what you'll get is rain and gust. It means driving down the road, your car will be blowing back and forth, and we don't want you to wreck. So be careful. Leave early tomorrow. As we roll into Thursday, 100% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Now, again, thunderstorms will be before 3 p.m. and possibly again after 3. So we're going to get it. We're looking at least 2 inches of rain. And then you get into where thunderstorm activity happens. It could go up to 4 inches. High of 70 during the storm. And look at this. This is where things change. Thursday night now we still have rain up till midnight, low of 37. So the storm will pass. It won't get below freezing, so we have nothing to worry about. But we go from 70 degrees on Thursday to 42 for a high on Friday and 29 for a low on Friday night. What does that mean? Well, normally it means somebody's going to get sick, doesn't it? We all know that. You get hot, you get cold. It just doesn't do your body good. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not one of those, and I've heard doctors say it has nothing to do with it. But it sure is coincidental with me. Every time I go from one temperature to the next, I don't feel good. So I'm going to go with my theory. Maybe you've got your own. But look at this. Over the weekend, we got a high of 48. Saturday, freezing on Saturday night with a low of 32. Sunday, 52, 32 freezing again. And Monday, a high of only 53. Now, let's jump ahead to another week into February and look at this. All the way through the 15th, we start warming back up around the 10th. We'll get into the 60s, and most likely we'll see some showers somewhere along in here. But nighttime lows averaging upper 30s and into the 40s at nighttime as we move in through February the 15th. Will we get more bad weather? It's possible. We'll watch that closely. Now, let's go back and take a look at radar so you know exactly what is up and coming with severe weather. Now, again, let me show you this on radar here. This is where snow and ice is expected from Texas as we come across through Arkansas, Kentucky, a little bit of Tennessee, not a whole lot. The Memphis area will get some all the way up this East Coast here. Snow in the forecast for Chicago. This is Thursday afternoon. See this dark green here? Let's look at this. Let's move into this. This is Clark County. Let's turn on locations where you'll know exactly where things are in Clark County and where this will be. All right, as we look at the possibility of this area here, and this is an imaginary line. This is where it's not going to be as rough at this point. This will be a little bit stronger thunderstorms. This line cuts across. This is going to be right here at Clarko State Park. And this will come right through downtown Stonewall. Come across there by the Piggly Wiggly. Right there. Come across where Long's Fish Camp is and cut into Jasper County, barely missing. That line's going to be right there at the Rose Hill Cemetery and all points back west. Bay Springs included in all of this as we go south. Gilbertown, Alabama, y'all will be included in this. Butler, Alabama is the line of severe weather at this point. Now, we're 2 days out. This could change. Again, this is a level 1. This hasn't bumped up to something more serious, but we're going to have some heavy rain. 2 to 4 inches as we looked at what the National Weather Service is telling us. But Clark County there, y'all be expecting that. That's going to come across right around there where Clarko State Park is and west into Stonewall and those areas and all points south all the way to the coast is what we're looking at. Again, barely missing this ice and snow right there. I'm seeing some areas right through here that could possibly get a little bit of some wintry mix as this moves through. We'll be on top of that and watch that for you and let you know exactly what's going to happen. Stay close. We'll be back in about an hour to give you more details of what's going on in our community. We can't do it without you. If you see something, snap a picture, get it to us so we can tell others and let them know. Remember, we have a road closure in the area, 65th Avenue toward I-20 there. Old Highway 80 at that four-way stop to North Frontage Road down by Queen City Truck Stop, that area there. We've had a gas spill overnight. They're working to clean this up. We'll let you know as soon as that roadway is opened up. More to come. We'll be back beginning live at 8 a.m. Be a part of it. You make the show. Thanks so much. Good morning to Jeff Cleveland there from Chunky watching us. We appreciate that. Brian McCary. A lot of folks up and at 'em today. Thank y'all. We'll see you very soon here as we begin another day. It's Tuesday right now, 41, headed for a high of 69. Thanks much. We'll see you back with Scotty Ray and Candace beginning at 8.
Scotty Ray's weather is brought to you by